there's something more that has to change in Manchester United. So even if you bring Jesus there, he's not going to change as a player. He's not going to change anything.
So technically you are saying he's not going to produce the numbers he has been.
So definitely he's not going to produce those numbers.
Okay. Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Big Sports Africa as we discuss matters related to football. I believe you've seen this or you've heard about Big Sports Africa elsewhere or anywhere on our social media platforms on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. And we welcome you to another episode of discussion about transfers and what is happening in different teams across the Premier League. And today, I'll be your host, Super Prince, and I have three of my great friends and panelists for today, and I'll give them time to introduce themselves, starting from the far end.
Yeah, welcome. This is Nash.
Welcome. My name is Kings.
Welcome. My name is Vision.
As you can see, we have three great panelists, two Manchester United die-hard fans, and we have a very staunch, who is a very staunch Arsenal fan. And today we're going to touch a couple of things because there's a lot happening on the transfer market. And first of all, we have this deal of Ekitike to Liverpool for 95 million euros. I don't know whether it's euros or dollars. Starting from close to me, what is your take on that deal of Ekitike to Liverpool?
For me, according to me, Ekitike to Liverpool is a very good deal. I think it's so sad that they lost Jota. I think this is a replacement for Diego Jota. And for me, for the 90 million, people are moaning about it's a lot of money. But I believe Liverpool has done business before, and I don't think people are moaning that it's a lot of money, 90 million plus 5 in add-ons. For me personally, I don't think it's a lot of money. I think he's a young player, one of the most talented in Europe. Liverpool, I think he may get it wrong signing this player.
Okay.
I think he's young and very talented and I think he will be better. He at least he has a resale value.
Okay.
Yeah, he's 90 million, but I think he can even, after 2 years, he can hit goals, and you will even forget about the price tag.
So for you, he's coming to fit into the team and he'll deliver more for the team.
Yeah, for me, I think he will come into the team. Of course, Eketike is coming to a Liverpool team, which is more attacking. It's not like a team like Manchester United. Liverpool scores goals. At least it's not a team like Manchester United who is struggling.
Got it right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true. I'm a United fan, but I know Liverpool scores goals more than Manchester United. They have fluid football. I think for me, he will bang in the goals. He will deliver what they want. Yeah, not even you don't give him so much expectation at 30 goals. No, give him 20 goals. I think Liverpool will be good with that. Okay. Or maybe 15, 20. They will distribute goals all around.
Okay.
Yeah.
My brother, what is your take on that deal?
First of all, just like my friend Vision has said, to be honest, people are not understanding that Liverpool are trying to invest in the future.
Okay.
You see, Haaland, if you look at Man City, Haaland is still young. Mm-hmm. So they still have to look at the fact that they want a striker who will be there for a long time.
Okay.
So him coming, he'll have a lot of pressure. I was bought a big price tag, or 95 million is a lot of money for a young kid like Ekitike, but he'll be there for a long time. Give him 2 or 3 seasons. For me, my prediction is that he might reach maybe 10 goals at most. Yes, and his impact will be a lot, but Liverpool fans, be patient with him. He'll be there. He'll deliver in some years to come.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mesh, what is your take on Ekitike's deal to Liverpool?
Okay, to be honest, this is from fans' perspective. Yeah. I think Ekitike going to Liverpool for $95 million. Okay, 95 million pounds. So this is close to $130 million.
Yes.
So it's a good move for him. Personally, for the player, it's a good move. For the club also, it's a good move. But for the market, 95 million pounds for Ekitike, that's too much.
Okay.
I think what Newcastle duped Liverpool to overpaying for Ekitike so that they don't come back and haunt Isak. So because we saw when Newcastle, they were going there and they're saying, well, we don't want to sell Isak, but we're going to bid for Ekitike. So I was looking at Newcastle playing with two central forwards, like Ekitike is here, Isak is here, and then it was not getting into my mind. It's either Isak was going to Liverpool, or they are duping Liverpool into overpaying for Ekitike, so that Ekitike, for that Isak doesn't go to Liverpool. So for a 23-year-old striker going for 95 million pounds, it's a good move for him if it works for him. But if you look at the strikers that they've been sold by Frankfurt, they've not gone and done well. So at some point they've been overpriced. But I don't want to think about it in that perspective. I want him to come to the Premier League and give a quiet competition, because when you look at the top teams, when you look at Manchester City, they have Haaland. You look at Liverpool, they have the striker. You look at Tottenham. Okay, let me not talk about Tottenham, but they have Solanke. Arsenal is trying to do something with a striker also. And then Chelsea, they have Joao Pedro, Delap is there. So there are other teams that we don't even talk about it, because it's a...
Okay.
Yeah.
So according to you, you're trying to say, or you're bringing up this idea that this market this time is kind of overpricing players.
Actually, when you look at the market currently, the players market is just crazy.
Okay.
For a player like Madueke for 52 million, a player like Mbuemo for almost 75.
I think that's Mbuemo is worth that, man.
Yeah. But now, looking at the market, looking at the market where Elanga is worth 55, Mbuemo is worth 70. And then you look at players like Ekitike worth 95. So, and then you're thinking about buying an Isak, and then you're talking about 150. So, I don't know what's happening. So I would try to put it this way, that now the Saudi market coming into the Premier League and try to pitch the players. So it has made maybe the values of players to
go high. But do you think it can be different, that players who are being bought from Premier League teams to other Premier League teams should be that value because they have proven themselves, unlike players who are being bought from other leagues to come to the Premier League? But on the contrary, we have seen players who are coming from other teams, other leagues to the Premier League being more expensive. You've been talking about Elanga being 55. I've seen Joao Pedro almost the same price, Madueke almost the same price. Don't you feel like these are already Premier League proven players, unlike those who are coming from outside? Kings, what is your take on that?
First of all, you guys are forgetting something. How old is Eketike?
Ekitike is 23 years, I believe.
And according to you, what will be the service? How many years from now?
Depending on the contract that the team will be ready to offer.
Like 10.
Like 10 years.
10 years. That is one thing you guys are forgetting. There's no way a club will give a 23-year-old with less than that, to be honest, in this market. First of all, you guys are forgetting young strikers. Said Akuna. It's very few. So they are taking that advantage that people are looking for. Look at Man United, they need a striker. Like almost every team need a striker. You see? So when you bring in a young striker, of course they will overprice. If he was, look at Gyokeres is 27. What is his value right now?
60, 70.
Yeah, you see? Because of the age. Because you cannot give me Gyokeres with more than 100 million, and because he was the top scorer in the world. I will also ask you, okay, you've given me someone with 100 million. Look at his age. Look at Kylian Mbappe. Mbappe went with almost 100 million. So if you look at, I will also ask you, okay, you've given me a 27-year-old. How many years remaining? Like 6 or 5.
But we've seen Cristiano Ronaldo play until 40. So a 27-year-old might still have more than 10 years to play.
And then there's something we are almost forgetting. Now, currently, some of the top players, they are reaching their peak, their prime at 30s, like from 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Talk of Mohamed Salah. Look at Kevin De Bruyne. What they've been doing. Look at, like, when we talk about Partey played the best season in Arsenal at 31 years old. So some players are reaching their peak when they are and then
at their best.
So now when we go back to Ekitike coming to the Premier League with that price tag, you know what price tag does to the players in the Premier League. When you look at players like Anthony, Sancho, you look at players like Grealish, you know, so they come with a certain price, and then all of a sudden they can't live up to that pressure, because you expect 100 million player to come and start banging them goals. So if you don't bang the first game, the second game, and the third game, and then by the time we're getting to the 10th game, the pressure is too much that the player cannot even sustain. The media, everyone is talking about that player.
And I think that might be one of the reasons that affected Darwin Núñez at Liverpool, because he came also on that almost the same amount, around 70-80 million.
70-80, yeah.
And so I believe that is one signing that Liverpool have made, and I believe it can work out based on how they'll be using it. And maybe if just to ask tactically, how do you feel the exchange of players in terms of using them on the pitch for Liverpool? Will it be possible because now they're having like stars up front? Yeah. There's rumors that they might sign Rodrigo if Luis Diaz leaves. Yeah. So imagine you have Rodrigo, Florian Wirtz, Salah, and Ekitike. All of them are goal scorers. Can it bring problems in terms of who wants to score more or who wants to prove himself more? If I start with you.
For me, I don't think it will be a problem. I think Liverpool has showed that it's a well-cultured team. I think hiyo itakuwa issue yoyote for Atifo, because Mo Salah, Eketike and Rodrigo. I think here is where you come and build a team now. It's not about individual. It's not about
but tumeona hiyo shida Liverpool, Mane na Salah wakileta shida, who should score more.
What is forgetting is Liverpool is all about Salah.
It's not about Salah.
You know? Last season you saw that Darwin Núñez was coming, ile wakati Liverpool imelemewa anakuja na anapiga bao mbili, Liverpool wanashinda. Kwa nini Salah hapo hivyo melemewa? Kwa hivyo hata wakuje ya kina nani, at the end of the day game ni Salah. Feed the ball to Salah, patia Salah finesse.
Lakini hizo unajua mtu kama mwenye amenoa tati si atataka pia kujiprove.
The problem with the Premier League is that the Premier League imetoka in a way that the forwards, we measure success of forwards by the goals
based on number of goals.
Yeah. So now if Rodrigo comes and then you're telling Rodrigo that now we need to feed Ekitike to score. Yeah. Salah, we need to feed Ekitike to score. And then Florian Wirtz, we need to feed Ekitike to score. Mm-hmm. So and then I also want to score my goal so that I want to be seen there as the world-class player that I am. Mm-hmm. So you find that we are on a counter, Salah is open, Rodrigo has the ball, Ekitike is forward there, and then just Florian Wirtz is just outside the D. And then I'm looking at Rodrigo just trying as much as he can to take on few players so that he can score, so that also we build his name.
Yeah.
So it happens in some teams in the Premier League, like it's been happening in Manchester United.
Yeah.
Like you look at someone just want to create the name for himself. Garnacho want to score. Yeah. Rashford gets the ball, so you'd better miss than passing the ball to someone else to score. Uh-huh. So the problem with the Premier League is that the measure of success is being measured by the goals, and for a player to feel that I'm that player that the world thinks he has to score goals. Yeah. So it might be a problem, but now this all depends with now the culture and what the manager is telling the players.
Okay. Now talking of measuring strikers with the number of goals.
Yeah.
Manchester United are about to complete. I think they've completed the signing of Mbuemo from Brentford, who actually scored more goals more than almost 7 Manchester United players combined.
Actually, he scored more than any other Arsenal player.
Even
actually,
Arsenal?
Yeah. You see.
So now here we are talking about. Listen here. We were talking about if you take 7 Manchester United players and combine them and take the tally of the goals they scored. Mbuemo has
lesser
more
than what
Mbuemo has more.
What about Arsenal?
But now when you take 7 players from Arsenal and combine them, so actually, not even 7 players. If you take Merino, who played 3 months as a striker, has more goals than an all-time new generated Haaland from Manchester United.
Okay. Let me tell you something. You see, Cunha and Mbuemo, those 2 signings, they have scored that 5 goals.
Yeah, that 5 goals.
Cunha scored 15 more
for Manchester United.
Yeah. No, for
Wolves and for Brentford.
They scored 35.
So is it guaranteed now they are going to produce that 5 at Manchester United?
Elanga scored 7. Combined, Elanga, João Pedro, Gistens.
Who else?
So who are these players you mentioned?
Who else? Elanga, João
So
Pedro,
you are combining all of them. So you are combining totally to be below 35 or above 35.
Below 35.
Okay, so now you can't be picking.
No, okay, I'm trying to say.
Okay, now for example, where did you pick Elanga Elanga was in Nottingham Forest,
I'm
right?
trying to show you.
So why did you pick Elanga over someone else? Just because he has little talent?
Because he's the one who has been bought by another club. I'm trying to
So you're just trying to prove that
maybe
that
to
Manchester United
to correct him. We cannot add Gittens into that conversation because he played in the Bundesliga. And
now my argument is he was still playing football. Anybody who was bought from anywhere. I'm not talking about the Premier League. I'm talking about football players who are playing football, like Gyokeres, who else? Elanga, who else? Joe Pedro, who else? Dilap.
So do we have to
all those? Let me ask you one question. Let me ask you one question.
Yeah.
Why is it that in the Premier League, the points per goal scored is 1.5, but in La Liga the points per goal scored is 2?
It's because
where do you think there's a difference? So that difference means that you can't compare different leagues.
That's why
goal scoring.
That's why you are trying.
So you can't bring Gittens
into the conversation.
Into the conversation.
I think
Premier League players.
If we talk of the Premier League, maybe we can mention Elanga with the likes of Cunha, Joe Pedro, Dilap, Madueke,
all those,
that. But what do you think about Manchester United finally completing the deal of Mbuemo? Because it's a deal that has been there for people started counting days, and it was day 46 of Manchester United not signing Mbuemo. What is your take?
I personally was very frustrated with this signing. I think, to be honest, like we are not a well-run club. That's very true. We are not a well-run club. We cannot negotiate for 7 weeks for Mbuemo and still pay 65. He's a good signing. I'm not mourning that it's a lot of money we've paid. He's a good signing according to but I know if we went in first hand without tulianza before tulitarget Mbuemo before Elanga, before market ianze kukua in inflation,
before Chelsea waongeleja wa Pedro.
Exactly. If we only went with 60 million to Brentford, wangechukua but because we wanted to buy a team, our first bid was 45 million, which is very foolish. And the first bid. The second bid we added 55. The third bid we have paid a top dollar for this kind of player. Yes, we have negotiated for 7 weeks. That shows we are not a well-run club.
But do you know the difference was only 1 million? That you're discussing for almost 7 weeks.
No, Manchester United wanted to pull it down to maybe they buy a player 55, then maybe add-ons, maybe 5, maybe they wanted a whole package to be a 60 million player, maybe the whole package.
Okay.
But Brentford ikakaa ngumu. Then the more you take time, the more Joe Pedro ananunuliwa 60 million to Nini and have scored less goals than Mbuemo. Yeah.
Okay, Kings, what is your take on Mbeumo's deal to Manchester United?
First of all, I'm a United fan, but finally we've made a signing that you can say we've made a signing. If you compare what we did last season, Bruno ndiye alikuwa ameshikilia mid na mbele yote. Why look at the likes of Højlund, what he was doing. Bruno now he has that firepower. That because that is what Man United was lacking. But the money is where now the problem comes in.
So do you feel Mbuemo ako overpriced ama Manchester take long ama wamelipa
United
kidogo?
The problem is that United walika. And the more wanakaa pia Brentford wanaona Elanga ndio ameenda na 50m 55 amefunga bao ngapi 7. You see? So they were like, if you acted earlier, because there was this rumors at January that we also wanted him at January. If you acted earlier, we could have gotten him cheaper. Yes, it's a good deal, but because of United delaying, he's overpriced because of Man United delaying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mesh, what do you think of this Mbuemo deal, and do you think he's going to produce the same numbers he's been producing at Brentford at Manchester United?
So now, first of all, when you look at Manchester United is the only club that goes to a negotiation and negotiate for 7 weeks and end up paying more. So now, what is the first? Why did you even get into the negotiation if you're going to negotiate and pay even more than what the club had asked before? Yeah. So the thing is, Brentford, when Ekitike decided to go to Liverpool, so Newcastle started looking at Wissa. And then it only meant one thing. If Wissa
had gone to Newcastle, Mbuemo would have stayed at Brentford. So that's one thing that made Manchester United move fast. And then the deal for Wisa just cooled down. And then, so this is just tactics in the market. So to push someone to do better. So Mbuemo going to Manchester United is a good move for him. It's a great move. He was always dreamt playing for Manchester United. Actually, he said that. So the thing is, Manchester United has been signing players all along. So, and I would say, Manchester United is a just deathbed for talents. Why? Because when you look at talents that Manchester United has signed, you look at Sancho, you look at Anthony, you look at Højlund, you look at Garnacho is there, you look at Rashford is there. So they've not been doing well. So it's not guaranteed that Mbuemo going to Manchester United is going to change anything. So there's more of a player, there's more problem more than a player. There's just something that Manchester United has to change. It's not about the players. It's not about like signing who and bringing these. There's something more that has to change in Manchester United. So even if you bring Jesus there, he's not going to change as a player. He's not going to change anything.
So technically you are saying he's not going to produce the numbers he's been.
So definitely he's not going to produce those numbers.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, if I may ask my friend here.
Ask kindly.
He has said that Mbuemo will not produce.
So he may not produce the exact numbers, he may produce more or less.
If I may ask you, look at Arsenal. You're producing the number at the end of the season. You're still complaining. You're getting nothing. You just participated. It's better that I'll just say like Luis Enrique, the way he said, there's no need of having a one player who's scoring 42 goals. It's better I have a lot of players who are scoring there.
So now talking about Arsenal.
No,
listen,
I would like to
wait.
Let's give him a
point ya Mbuemo. Mbuemo, yes, is coming to Manchester United. He cannot maybe hata produce his goals, maybe
but atakuwa na impact.
Maybe goals will be shared all along, anaweza kufika hiyo 20. But again, umesema Manchester United signs players and
they flop.
They come and flop. It's very true. It's very true. We've seen with a lot of people, akina Di Sanchez, kutoka hiyo kitambo, like, it's very true. But for now, I think we have started to move with a bright mind. I think picking a player from a Premier League. Or wengine, I think walikuwa toka akina Højlund, akina Sancho from Bundesliga. I think ni kama it's a move like yenye unaonanga Sadio Mane ametoka Soton, amekuja Liverpool. Mo Salah ametoka Chelsea, amekuja. Like it's a brilliant signing kuchukua mtu akao pale chini. Like ukiona hata Liverpool ikiendea Gyokeres, it's just a person who has played in the Premier League. He has proven himself in the Premier League. I think wameanza kumove in for me, I think it's just a good signing for me. Okay. And I think it's a good move for Manchester United. Yeah.
So now I want to answer him. Now, there's more of like playing in the Premier League. Not only winning the Premier League, but there's more of that. Yeah. There's revenues. Yeah. So when you play for the Premier League, do you know you earn for finishing number 5? There's the amount of money you earn finishing number. So even playing in the Premier League, even someone that has been promoted, there's that amount of money, no matter whether he's going to be relegated or not.
Yeah.
He's going to earn some revenue. So now talking about scoring goals. So Arsenal, when you look at 2022, 2023, 23, 24 and 24, 25, Arsenal is one of the teams that has distributed the goals almost evenly. Yeah. You find Saka is scoring, the midfield is scoring, Martinelli is scoring, Havertz is scoring. So now it's not that only one person is scoring the goals. Okay, so the goals has been distributed, and I've not disputed that Mbuemo is not going to do good at Manchester United. Yeah. There's something we call personal brilliance. Yeah. So when you take away now the tactics from the coach and everything else, because currently the football is happening to be so much programmed. Yeah. Like, if you've been positioned at position 7, so
that's a Teta man.
Yeah. So that's now, so you're told when to drop and when to attack, when to get into the midfield and so that. So now, when it comes but it reaches a point whereby now game imekata. And now you have to show your personal brilliance. Yeah. Now take on the players, go and score. Check those matches. You as an individual players. Okay. That's what has been happening at Real Madrid with Carlo Ancelotti. Yeah. So now Mbuemo is here, game ishakata. So where sasa story ya coach kuambia sasa ati you have to run back, defend, ati Bruno akiwa hapa unafaa kuwa hapa. So ukipata 2 ball, so and you're able to take on players. You're able to run, dribble and score.
Okay.
So ati usione you have the space to run, but because the manager said mtu akiopen umpatie ball, ati you stand and urudishe ball nyuma.
I think we if that is the case, that is to mean we will see more of that from the two signings.
Exactly.
Yes. Matthias Cunha and
one thing I think the manager has chosen Cunha and Mbuemo is because they have the physique and they're able to force games on their own. They're able to decide matches on their own.
Now, talking of they can decide matches on their own. I know this is off the book, but looking at Chelsea, we've seen glimpses of Cole Palmer combining with Joao Pedro.
Exactly.
Now, when you talk of the two comparing to, because definitely we didn't see Joao Pedro doing much at Brighton last season compared to Mbuemo and Cunha, but we've seen his brilliance at the FIFA Club World Cup that he can unlock low blocking teams. He can be very important in big matches. How do you look at it comparing Joao Pedro and Cole Palmer to Cunha and Mbuemo as their combination at Manchester, given that all of them they are playing together for the first time, coming from different positions? Let me start with you.
For me, according to me, what do you mean? You mean like how they will
in terms of link up and in terms of being important for the team?
For the team, yeah.
Yes.
I think Mbuemo and Cunha will be so important because one thing about Manchester United, they have been lacking goals. They've been lacking goals for like not even last season, for many seasons. Last season when we finished with a negative, I think, or maybe 1 or 2 goals. And if you look at like a team like Arsenal, maybe it's finishing with 40 goals in a season. So
not 40, 100.
No, I'm talking about like after many
goal difference.
Goal difference. Talking about the goal difference. Now, Mbuemo and Cunha, that's why they've been brought in. You know, first for me, for the first time we went for Cunha, I was okay. Then the second time we went for Mbuemo, I was like, Bruno Fernandes, Cunha and Bruno Fernandes will maybe play as a 10, and maybe for that money for Mbuemo, I was for buy a good midfielder to play because I'm not a Bruno in the midfield. Okay. Because I know his legs.
Now you know where your problems will be next season. Kings, what is your take on that?
Well, first of all, you've said Joao Pedro come in playing the FIFA World Cup.
Yes.
First of all, how was he in the Premier League, if I ask?
Okay, that's what I'm saying. He has come from a different team, and we've not seen much of his performance in the Premier League. What I'm basing on is we've seen how easy he combined with Cole Palmer to make things happen
in a Club World Cup.
Yes, and that was a tournament against some of the big teams.
First of all, they have shown us that the chemistry is good. If you look at Palmer and Joao Pedro, but Pia. It will reach a time where Palmer says, I'm also cold. He also wants to score.
Okay.
If you look at, like my friend here said, we brought in Cunha and Mbuemo because they are die-hard. You know? Because, first of all, I think Cunha and Mbuemo will do better than Palmer and Joao Pedro. Okay. Because Joao Pedro will still be Joao Pedro. What he was doing last season, maybe something will change. But if you look at the Chelsea squad right now, they've brought in Gyokeres. They still have players inside. There's Pedro Neto. So he will, first of all, he will have that pressure. You know, don't say Palmer and Joao Pedro, because Palmer pale kwa mida kwa sawa. No. Ana mtu ati wanabishana na yeye sana. But Joao Pedro, when he's coming there, now he will have even more pressure than Brighton. So first of all, he'll have.
But he has already shown that he can live under the pressure.
You know, there's no problem with that because if you look at Liam Delap, if you compare last season Liam Delap and last season Joao Pedro, Delap was playing better.
Because he was the star of the team that was almost dying and it died.
Yeah, it died. We don't refuse. Now he has come where now he'll get fitted.
Okay.
You know?
So now, when you look at these two teams, these two sets of players, we're talking about Mbuemo and Cunha, Palmer and Joao Pedro. So the first thing you need to understand is that Cole Palmer and Joao Pedro, they're creating some bromance. When you try to look at how they played that few matches they played against the Club World Cup, so it happens like they've played for a season together, but they just trained some few days and the chemistry could be seen because Joao Pedro understands those movements so much better. We see Cole Palmer from the midfield Joe Pedro creating the spaces, Palmer being able to score. So it's not about like all the time Palmer will be assisting Joe Pedro. It's about the chemistry that they've created together and the technicality.
Yes.
Because you see, Palmer does not have physique to force matches, but he has that technical ability to be able to
create something
out of nowhere. For example, the goal that Joe Pedro scored against PSG.
Yes.
So you see, just out of blues, Joe Pedro has the ball in the box and they chips. So now that is something that we're talking about, technicality between and the chemistry between Cole Palmer and Joe Pedro. They are creating something that they can make something out of nothing.
Will they be better than?
So definitely, Cole Palmer and Joe Pedro, they are going to be better than, because if you close this down with low block, Cunha and Mbuemo, they're not going. They won't do anything. But when you come to the technical part of it, Cole Palmer and Joe Pedro, they can unlock low blocks. So when you look at the other pair, Cunha and Mbuemo, they don't have that ability to unlock those
low blocks,
low block teams.
Okay.
So that's the difference they're going to have. But they have the energy, they have the physique, but technically they don't have it. So when you go to Cole Palmer and Joe Pedro, they are technically gifted.
Okay. So talking of Cunha and Mbuemo, we know the system that Ruben Amorim uses is a 4-2-3-1.
Yeah.
At 3-4-2-1. That is to mean we will see Cunha and Mbuemo behind a striker. And they are on the market looking at the striker. And recently there have been rumors that they have started negotiation with Nicholas Jackson from Chelsea. What is your take on Manchester United trying to get Nicholas Jackson from Chelsea?
I think those are rumors that are derived by Chelsea fans.
But everything starts as rumors. We always hear rumors and deals go happen. Even Madueke was rumors to Arsenal and now he's an Arsenal player.
Yeah. But for me, I think personally, at where Manchester United is, I think it can't go for a person like maybe a Jackson because of maybe the amount of money that Chelsea will want Manchester United to give Chelsea. Maybe he wants a 60 million. Maybe a 60 million.
But Chelsea have said they want 100.
100 million is not reasonable. Even you as a Chelsea fan, you know Manchester United doesn't have that kind of money to start buying like players like in this market there are good strikers other than Jackson.
Okay.
They are Ole Watkins. Maybe you can talk about the age is aging. Maybe a Mateta. Better than Jackson. Manchester United doesn't need another 10. We need a finisher. Jackson, I've seen Jackson in Chelsea shirt missing even an open goal. We have seen him more than once, maybe second time.
So in short, you don't want Jackson at Manchester?
We can't even have him.
What is your take on that?
First of all, I want to clear the rumors.
Okay.
As the sporting director
of Manchester United, there's nothing like yes, we had those rumors about Jackson, but of late we've seen the club itself. The name itself, it's glorious. Manchester United. Someone like Benjamin Sesko was approached, and he was like, even though I won't play any European football, which I could have done with RB Leipzig, I would like to join Man United.
But your friend, fellow Manchester United fan has said that you are going for Premier League players. Don't you see that Jackson is a Premier League proven striker?
First of all, he's not Premier League proven.
But he's been playing on the Premier League.
That doesn't.
And in fact, he scored more goals than Manchester United strikers.
Actually, you guys are forgetting something. If I go to a driving school right now, we both of us we go to a driving school. Sisi wote ndereva.
Okay.
Wewe utakuwa unaendesha gari, kuna mwenye anaenda driving school ndio apate license. Unaona? Kuna mwenye anaenda driving school ndio aendesha gari. Sasa Jackson akona ile license ya yeye amecheza Premier League. Unaona? But now we are look at if you compare him with someone like Oli Watkins. We also had some connection with Oli Watkins. Kila mtu atendea Oli Watkins. That's for a fact. Okay. Now that is the meaning of someone who has proven himself that yes, I can play in the Premier League. See what year I was bought in the Premier League.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mesh, what is your take on Manchester United being linked with signing Nicholas Jackson?
So I want to tell these people just the truth. we Arsenal fans, we were ranting, we were so mad when Madueke was linked to Arsenal, and we couldn't do anything about it. So if Manchester United today decides we are going to sign Nicholas Jackson, just as they said, they signed Mbuemo and Cunha just because they had more goals contributions than any other player at Manchester United. And maybe if we use the same philosophy, Jackson has more goals than any other striker at Manchester United. So if Manchester United decide today, Nicholas Jackson it is, you're going to get mad, and then when he gets signed, we're going to see that Nicholas Jackson is better than Gyokeres. Yeah. So that's one thing that you need to understand.
So they just have to accept.
So you just have to accept if it happens. So if the rumors are there, Waswahili wanasema penye moshi pana
apakosi moto.
So when you see smoke,
there's fire somewhere.
There's fire somewhere. So another thing is that Nicholas Jackson actually fits. Wait. Okay. Nicholas Jackson needs a mid-table club that plays once a week, like the weekends only. Talk of Brentford, Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace is not a mid-table club because they're going to play the Europe. Brentford, Wolves, Manchester United.
Don't put Man United.
But so clearly right now, definitely you're 14, so we can say
for the moment, yes.
Club,
Now we are talking about the season that just ended. You're a mid-table club.
Yeah.
Yes or no?
Yeah, true.
Good. So he needs a club that is playing only once a week. Now Manchester United falls into that, and then also when you look at financially, you're not up there to buy a club worth to buy a player worth 100 million.
Very nice. That's Jackson.
Yeah,
that's Jackson.
So, but Jackson, you can go to Chelsea and negotiate, get a player for 70
option.
Yes, or alone with a buy option.
You know one thing about Manchester United and Amorim, that system needs a clinical striker, not even a clinical, out and out striker. You have to play your last man. Jackson is like a first 9. We don't need that. We have that exactly. A first 9. We need a striker like Gyokeres, a person who can, the last man will stay with the last man. Jackson, that is not the kind of person that Amorim will go for. I'm 100% sure. Amorim, if maybe they are mad.
So now the problem with Manchester United. The problem with Manchester United is that even Amorim himself, if the club decides to sign Nicholas Jackson, Amorim will have to admit.
No. He has a lot in
if you look at Jackson, if I may ask you, because you're a Chelsea fan, how much did they rate him?
Rate him in terms of
money, the
100 million.
100 million, yeah. Leipzig are asking for.
Now let me even before we continue, I'll get back to you. Let me just ask you a question. If Jackson scored last season, Jackson scored more than Ekitike, and Ekitike is 95 million. Don't you think Jackson is worth 100 million?
He's not. In fact,
that is to mean Ekitike is not worth 95.
In fact, even Darwin should be the one who will be rated that.
Why?
Because first of all, Jackson, just to be honest, even the name is hard to pronounce. First of all, if you look, Jackson is 100 million, right? Look at someone like Benjamin Sesko.
So how many goals did he score at
Jackson still scored more than Benjamin Sesko.
Okay, then let's look at Ollie Watkins.
So
what is Ollie Watkins worth?
So in short, through all means you have to avoid signing.
It's better you stay with Hoyland
because of the system. Because of the system, I think they
but personally, as a football fan, I feel like Jackson can be so instrumental at Manchester United, giving versatility because he can play in the 3-4-2-1. The two behind the striker, that is where you're trying to play Cunha and Mbuemo. You can still play Jackson in those areas.
And one of the three.
Yeah, but can play as a striker. And the ability of Jackson driving the ball is good. So if you can play him as an option of a second striker, can do better. Given that now you're going to be forced to play Bruno Fernandes deep into the midfield, which is not his natural position. Don't you think it will affect him such that if Jackson could be there, could allow him to be a more free and like when he's not there?
First of all, Jackson coming, you want Jackson to come in as a 10 in Manchester United.
No, not solely as a 10,
like you said.
He can offer that versatility.
He's not the kind of striker we want. No, we want him to the versatility. You want him to be accommodated as a 10. Now
as a 9, as a 10,
but as a 10, we already have Mason Mount. We have Joshua Zirkzee. We have Cunha, Mbuemo. We have Ahmad Diallo. We already have like 6 players who can play in that position.
But your coach will not use Mount as a 10, definitely.
All the characters you have been talking about, you are talking about Zagzi in short. We don't need another one.
Yeah,
right
so
now, you don't need another Zagzi.
We already have Zagzi.
Okay?
We don't need a Zagzi.
Right now, we want that person.
We want that person who
if
can
Bruno
play.
gets that aerial ball, that's a goal.
Who is that person?
Now, that's where now we can either go for Oli Watkins, first of all.
Do you know, you guys, let me tell you.
Because Jackson,
I
first of
just
all,
remember the other day, you guys were signing Hoyland. You're just telling us he's
Yes.
the next Haaland.
Yeah, it has not worked out.
it has not.
So you bring another one, doesn't work out, you try again and again and again.
Like we said, like the way we said that Eketike will also need time. You said that most of the players, their primes are 30s. Let's do this. First of all, Hoyland needs time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's still a young.
Okay.
21,
That's
22
still
years.
a key.
And a lot
Needs
of
the
pressure.
time.
Manchester United has a lot of pressure for him to deliver. Yeah, I know. If you take Hoyland and put him in a more composed team, maybe even they become a second striker. Maybe a Newcastle can buy him and plays alongside Isak. If Hoyland maybe goes to a club like Newcastle, they are searching for a striker right now, and not going there as a starter. He's going there to come in as a substitute. I think give him the time to develop. One thing about Manchester United, they don't give like these young players a good base of developing. There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure in the fan base, in the team. A lot of expectation from
You guys are forgetting something. Right now, as we talk, we don't have time to develop players. The time we have right now is to rescue the club.
So now, so how are you sure that Sesko is going to come in and pick immediately? You just said he's 23, so you're going to give him time.
I personally would have loved a person like Gyokeres, a 27-year-old. A more mature person
and
who knows where the net is, not a person like we are coming to just for him, not even to get us back to a top 5, maybe not even that he will fight a top 4, maybe just a top 5. Gyokeres can do that because of the experience. He has played the system of Amorim. He knows where to be.
So just do you know that also Crystal Palace has that target of playing of getting to top 5?
Yeah, they do.
So you're putting yourself into the same bracket with Crystal Palace.
At the moment, first of all, we're looking at the fact that this is Manchester United.
So Manchester United should be competing with Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal. Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal are top 3.
Yes, that's why I'm telling you. The reason as to why we are looking for those players that performed well in the league. We want those people who have already adapted, first of all, in England. So that when they come in, hawatatumia time most kama Hoyland, Nona, or Zagzi, or whoever.
So now this rules out Benjamin Sesko.
No, yeah, it's okay if it rules out Benjamin Sesko. Let's look at someone like Oli Watkins.
For me.
Okay. First of all, if you look at, we also linked with someone like Watkins. Watkins is also a very good striker, very clinical one. That is what we are trying to do. We don't need Nicholas Jackson at the moment.
So, but he's from the Premier League. You just said you need Premier League players.
We need Premier League.
I'd rather go for a Mateta 40 million Crystal Palace.
That's
than a Jackson. A player who can play as a striker. We don't need a number 10. We need a striker who is there in the box.
Fire them.
We don't need a replacement for Zagzi.
So Edin Ketia is at Crystal Palace. You should be talking about him.
Mateta.
Edin Ketia.
Will he be able to handle?
That's not a striker.
If he can handle the pressure at Arsenal, he can handle the pressure at Man United. There is a very big difference between Arsenal and Man United. That is one thing you are forgetting. We ain't Arsenal, we are Manchester United.
You can't compare a number 2 to a number 14.
Yeah, but the problem is, even if you compare number 2 to a number 14, at least at the end of the day, a Man United fan will stand up and say, the last 3 to 4 seasons, we've played like 4 finals, we've lifted 2. A Carabao Cup and a FA Cup, right?
And talking of Arsenal, we're seeing talks with Gyokeres still on a standstill, and they are also having other options. What do you think? Let me start with Mesh as an Arsenal fan.
So now, just as we had said, like Gyokeres coming into the Arsenal. So the links that you were just hearing about Manchester United is getting into the conversation with Sporting Lisbon. So these are just tactics to push Arsenal to pay what they don't want to pay. So just the way that that Newcastle used Wissa
to push
Manchester United to pay more for Mbuemo. Yeah. So it's just a tactic, and Gyokeres himself, because Amorim approached him and told him that, you know that you're my boy. I coached you at Sporting Lisbon just the other season. So now I want you at Manchester United. Do you know what he told him? He said that I would rather play golf than to play for Manchester United.
First of all,
so now I am talking. So now, Victor Gyokeres coming into Arsenal is now the last piece that Arsenal wanted. You saw. Let me give you an example. Their away match against Paris Saint-Germain, the first 20 minutes, we had almost six chances that if only we had a striker, he could have finished and maybe we could have won the match and we could have played a Champions League final, right? So if we had a striker after this the January transfer window that we had, we went all along to bring in Merino as a striker. If we had a striker, we could have won some matches that we didn't win, and we might have closed the gap between us and Liverpool. So this is something that Arsenal fans has wanted it to be addressed since last season, since the summer window.
You started bottling the league.
So since the summer window, right? So this is something that we've always wanted it to be addressed, and the club took their time to address that. Yeah. So I think bringing...
First of all, what I would like to say is one. This is not the first time you've seen clubs getting linked with Arsenal targets. We saw Mihailo Mudryk. What happened? Yeah, so don't be surprised that person who said they'd rather play golf in Old Trafford. Yes, it's a good signing for Arsenal. That's for a fact. If they get him first, that's a good signing, first of all, because that was the only excuse Arteta had for bottling the league for almost 4 seasons now.
But he had chances to sign strikers, but he didn't.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, finally, even I wish that he goes to that Arsenal, so that Arteta now we can hear if he
it's not that you wish. It's not that
I'm talking relax.
It's not that you wish. It's because he can't go to Manchester United.
What I'm saying is, I pray that Gyokeres joins Arsenal to begin with, so that now we can see what other excuse Arteta has.
So definitely, according to you, you're trying to mean that they'll definitely not win the league or win any trophy. So they'll still look for another excuse regardless of
Arsenal had Ozil in midfield, they had Giroud, they had Sanchez up front. What happened?
Okay.
You are talking, it's like if you are talking about Man City, it would have been another issue. But as long as it's Arsenal, now if they won't do anything, they'll just participate as usual. Yes.
So, Visions, what is your take on Gyokeres to Arsenal and the links with Manchester United?
I think the links to Manchester United are not making sense to me. I think Gyokeres to Arsenal is just a matter of time. That will happen, and that will happen.
And
for sure.
what will be his impact at Arsenal? Do you think he'll bring that difference they've been lacking in terms of winning matches and deciding important matches for winning trophies, and finally they might win the Champions League or the Premier League?
Okay. For me, firstly, Gyokeres is a great player, a very great player. Has scored a lot of goals in Sporting. From Sporting, see at him, kuna a lot of competition, so he can score a lot of goals. But I think he has proven in the Champions League, scored against Manchester City. He has proven that he can do the job. I think Arsenal kumchukua itakuwa very positive for them. I think he will come to the Premier League and still scores goals. He's really Jamani bully. He's a bully. He will play as for the last man. He will fight for every ball. I think for me, but in terms of kuchukua league, I think bado Arsenal will still be chasing the league, but teams are still strengthening. Unajua usifikiri atimeleta sasa nani
Ekitike sasa utachukua ligi.
Atimeleta nani ufikirie sasa ati Liverpool imelala, ati Manchester City, Chelsea still doing. Chelsea the next season itakuwa pia. It will not be ati that yes, he will do the job, he will score goals. I don't know if the goals will be enough for them to carry the league. It might not be enough because Liverpool are still doing business, Chelsea are still doing business, Manchester City are still doing.
Where is Manchester United?
We are still doing business too.
We're in a different conversation for now.
Thank you.
It's not about it's it's not
even if Gyokeres comes and scores 50 goals for Arsenal in Premier League will be just like Tom and Jerry. Tom will never catch Jerry.
Okay.
See? There's no difference between that.
So
that's why I'm saying I want. In fact, I don't even want him to join Man United.
So
I
you want him at Arsenal?
Yes, so that now we can hear the excuse that Arteta will give at the end of the day.
This is a make or break for Arteta. It has to.
Yes.
This has to happen. This has to be the guy, and the guy who will bring him the title home.
And now he has to come in and make it happen that they win trophy.
He has to.
If it does not work, I think Arteta will be out now.
Yes.
This is the last
Now,
season.
let me ask this question to Mesh. As an Arsenal fan, do you think if you go next season without winning a trophy, do you think will you be for Arteta to stay or Arteta to be sacked?
So do you know, I'm looking at people yapping about other teams.
Yeah.
And no, you are
just answer my question
You are
first.
concentrating too much on other people.
I want you to answer my
Your house is
question.
bad.
That's-
So now the thing
That's
is,
the reality.
yes.
now the thing is, I'm here and everybody's here.
Yeah.
Now, if Arsenal gets Victor Gyokeres, right? They already have Noni Madueke. They already have Christian Mosquera. They already have Christian Nogard. And maybe one of the Eze or Xavi Simons might come.
Yeah.
So Arteta will not have an excuse that he doesn't have depth, he doesn't have a striker, he doesn't have an attack, he doesn't have a defense. So this is the season that if Arteta doesn't give Arsenal a major title, not even a trophy, a major title, if it's not a major title, Carabao is not a major title.
Yeah.
So talking about a major title, you're talking about either the Premier League or the Champions League.
Yeah.
So if Arteta doesn't deliver that, then it will be so hard for the sporting director, even the board, to have him in the team.